The Byakugan, also known as the Wide Eye or All-Seeing Wide Eye, is a special type of eye power, or Kekkai Genkai Dojutsu, that originally came from the Ōtsutsuki clan. Later on, it became closely linked to the Hyūga clan. It's considered one of the 3 great Dojutsus in the series, along with the Sharingan and Rinnegan. So hold on tight, because starting with Byakugan, we'll introduce you to every Dojutsu in Naruto within just a few minutes. Unlike the Sharingan, which has to be awakened under specific conditions, the Byakugan is active from birth. It gives the user almost 360-degree vision, letting them see through objects and track chakra flow in others. But it's not flawless. There's a tiny blind spot in the back of the neck, near the thoracic vertebrae. Skilled opponents can take advantage of this because most Byakugan users can't detect anything in that area. When someone activates their Byakugan, their pupils become clearer, and veins bulge near their temples due to increased blood flow. Most users have blank white or lavender eyes, but there are exceptions. Himawari's eyes only change when she activates hers. And Mokai Koinata's Byakugan is limited to one eye since he isn't from a pure Hyūga bloodline. Some Ōtsutsuki members, like Momoshiki and Urashiki, had golden Byakugan after absorbing huge amounts of chakra. Ishiki, on the other hand, had only one Byakugan, while his other eye had a completely different ability. The Byakugan lets users see incredibly far. Neji's range was around 50 meters in part 1, but by part 2, he had extended it to at least 800 meters. Hinata pushed it even further, reaching up to 20 kilometers in the last Naruto the movie. And then there's Kaguya, whose Byakugan could cover the entire planet. But this ability isn't just about long-range vision. It also allows users to see the chakra circulatory system in extreme detail. It can detect chakra signatures, spot clones, and even break through genjutsu. In fact, the Hyūga clan developed the Gentle Fist fighting style to fully utilize this ability. With the Byakugan and Gentle Fist together, they can strike the enemy's chakra points, either sealing or opening them, which lets them control the opponent's chakra flow. Even Ao from Kirigakure, who transplanted a Byakugan from a fallen Hyūga, could use it to sense genjutsu and track chakra. The thing is, because of how powerful the Byakugan is, other villages have tried to steal it. One of the most well-known cases was the Hyūga affair, where Kumagakure attempted to take it by force. To prevent this, the Hyūga clan created a cursed seal for most of their members. This seal ensures that when a Byakugan user dies, their eyes are destroyed too, so enemies can't steal them. In rare situations, the Byakugan can evolve. If an Ōtsutsuki implants a Hyūga's Byakugan, it can transform into a Tenseigan, unlocking powerful abilities like the Truth-Seeking Balls and Tenseigan Chakra Mode. Urashiki Ōtsutsuki even had the ability to switch between his Byakugan and Rinnegan whenever he wanted. The Tenseigan, meaning Reincarnation Eye, is an incredibly rare and powerful dojutsu that first appeared in the last Naruto the movie. Think of it as an upgraded version of the Byakugan, but it only manifests when an Ōtsutsuki implants a Hyūga's Byakugan into themselves. This triggers a transformation that unlocks insane abilities. Now, let's talk about what makes the Tenseigan so broken. For starters, it gives the user the ability to control gravity, letting them push and pull objects like the Rinnegan's Diva Path. It also grants access to Truth-Seeking Balls, which contain all 5 nature transformations, plus Yin-Yang Release. At its peak, the Tenseigan unlocks Tenseigan Chakra Mode, a form that boosts strength, allows flight, and surrounds the user in celestial aura. When Toneri Ōtsutsuki obtained the Tenseigan by stealing Hanabi Hyūga's Byakugan and implanting it in himself, the process wasn't instant. It took days for his eyes to evolve, and the transformation was agonizing. But once fully awakened, his plain white Byakugan turned into deep blue eyes with an intricate floral pattern, along with a massive power boost. This is where the reincarnation part of the Tenseigan comes into play. Toneri planned to use his newfound power to crash the moon into the earth, wiping out humanity to create his so-called pure world. He even built a massive golem powered by the Tenseigan to fight Naruto. During their battle, Toneri demonstrated just how terrifying the Tenseigan truly is. He manipulated the moon's trajectory, unleashing devastating chakra blasts, and fought on par with Naruto. But for all its power, it wasn't invincible. Naruto ultimately shattered Toneri's transformation, causing the Tenseigan to vanish and revert back to the Byakugan. Afterwards, Hinata reclaimed her sister's eyes, leaving Toneri blind once again. The origins of the Tenseigan trace back to Hamura Ōtsutsuki, though it's unclear if he ever used it in battle. Some believe an energy vessel called the Tenseigan was created after his death to preserve his power, while others think he set it up for himself. What's undeniable is the Tenseigan is one of the most powerful dojutsu ever, and it is strong enough to restore an entire planet if it's destroyed. That's basically a god-tier ability. The Jogan, or Pure Eye, is one of the rarest and most mysterious dojutsu in the Naruto universe. It's mostly known to the Ōtsutsuki clan, and so far, Boruto Uzumaki is the only one who has it. Even the Ōtsutsuki seem cautious about its power, but no one fully understands where it comes from yet. Unlike other famous dojutsu, Boruto was born with the Jogan. At first, he had no control over it. It would activate on its own, usually when he sensed hidden threats or danger. But as he got stronger, he learned how to use it whenever he wanted. The Jogan gives Boruto some incredible abilities. Like the Byakugan, it lets him see chakra flow and pinpoint weak spots in the enemy's body. But it does even more than that. He can also sense and interact with the dimensional rifts, which makes him especially dangerous against the enemies who use space-time abilities, like the Ōtsutsuki. Since they depend on traveling between dimensions, this gives Boruto a huge advantage. One of the wildest things about the Jogan is that even if Boruto's eyes get damaged, he can still use its powers. That's pretty unique since most Dojutsu stop working when injured. We still don't know everything it can do, but chances are it'll get even stronger as Boruto continues to grow. What's really interesting is that the eyes of the Ōtsutsuki god look a lot like the Jogan. This has led to theories that the Jogan might be linked to some kind of godly power, which could explain why the Ōtsutsuki seem to fear it. Whether it's a weaker version of a god's eye or something even more powerful is still unknown. While the anime was a bit unclear about where the Jogan came from, the manga has confirmed that it's canon. The Hyūga, or Blood Dragon Eye, is a rare dojutsu that only the Shinoiki clan has. Its glowing red color gives it an intense, almost spooky look, which is why some people compare it to the three great dojutsu. But what really makes it terrifying is how it can mess with both the mind and body. With just eye contact or touch, the Hyūga can trap someone in a powerful genjutsu, which lets the user control their thoughts and actions. And it's not just about illusions. This dojutsu is basically bloodbending. By sending chakra into a target, the user can manipulate their blood and make it harder for them to move or even force their body to bend against their will. And since it works on anything rich in iron, they can also shape weapons, armor, or deadly projectiles out of blood itself. Chino, the most well-known Hyūga user, takes things to another level by combining genjutsu with blood manipulation. With the power to control both the mind and the life flowing through someone's veins, the Hyūga turns blood into a deadly weapon. Hold up real quick. Before we break down the rest of the most powerful dojutsu in Naruto, both canon and non-canon, including some hidden gems you might not know about, make sure you stick around until the end and hit that like and subscribe button. Alright, the Sharingan is activated. Let's dive in. The Kokugan, or Black Eye, is a powerful dojutsu used by Ishiki Ōtsutsuki, and later by Kawaki through his Kama. When activated, it has a black pupil with a golden glow and a wheel-like pattern with 8 spokes, which shift depending on how much power is being used. This eye comes with some seriously overpowered abilities. With Sukuna Hikona, the user can instantly shrink themselves or any non-living object in sight. When combined with Daikokuten, they can store those shrunken objects in a special dimension where time doesn't move, then bring them back to full size anytime they want. This makes the Kokugan insanely useful in battle, allowing the user to dodge attacks, shrink weapons, and drop giant objects on enemies out of nowhere. But that's just the beginning. The Kokugan can also summon massive black cubes that mess with sensory abilities, open space-time portals, and even let the user see a person's lifespan by viewing their life force as a flame-like shadow. Ishiki mastered these abilities, using them to launch black rods that pierced chakra-based defenses to catch his opponents off guard with surprise attacks. Ishiki had the Kokugan in his right eye, but Kawaki later developed his own in his left. Jigen Ishiki's previous vessel wasn't able to unlock the eye, but Kawaki eventually learned to use it without relying on his Kama. A cool detail about the Kokugan is that its design resembles a Dharma wheel, which connects it to Buddhist symbolism, fitting for the godlike Ōtsutsuki clan. The Sharingan, also known as the Copy Wheel Eye or Mirror Wheel Eye, is a special dojutsu passed down in the Uchiha clan. Alongside the Byakugan and Rinnegan, it's considered one of the 3 great dojutsus in the Naruto series. Unlike other abilities that people are born with, the Sharingan doesn't activate right away. It awakens in moments of intense emotion, grief, rage, the need to protect someone, or Uchiha's so-called curse of hatred, which comes from stress or loss. When this happens, a surge of chakra floods their optic nerves, turning their eyes into the Crimson Sharingan. That's why it's called the eye that reflects the heart. The Sharingan evolves in stages, shown by the number of tomoe in the eye. Instead of unlocking completely new abilities though, each stage just makes the existing ones even stronger. When it first appears with 1 tomoe, the user's vision sharpens, allowing them to see the chakra and track movements better. They also gain a basic ability to copy techniques. As it develops 2 tomoe, their perception improves, letting them predict enemy attacks and use genjutsu more effectively. Once it reaches 3 tomoe, their ability to see through illusions powers up. They can anticipate enemy moves perfectly and copy techniques with better accuracy. Their ability to analyze battles also improves. One of the Sharingan's most famous abilities is copying jutsu. By observing an opponent's movements, hand seals, and chakra flow, the user can mimic almost any technique, whether it's ninjutsu, genjutsu, or taijutsu. But just because they can copy a move doesn't mean they can master it instantly. They still need the right skills to pull it off. Sasuke showed this plenty of times, copying Zabuza's techniques, countering Itachi's illusions, and even fighting Kaguya. The Sharingan's powers are usually divided into 2 categories. The Eye of Insight makes the user's vision ridiculously sharp. They can see the chakra, detect tiny movements, and even perceive things on a microscopic level. With enough skill, they can predict an opponent's next move. The Eye of Hypnotism is where things get scary. With Genjutsu Sharingan, the user can control people just by making eye contact. A skilled Uchiha can manipulate thoughts, force enemies to act against their will, or even take control of a tailed beast. On top of that, the Sharingan has two of the most overpowered genjutsu techniques in Naruto. Izanagi is basically a cheat code for avoiding death. It lets the user turn reality into an illusion, meaning if they take a fatal hit, they can just erase that moment and keep fighting. Izanami is the perfect counter to Izanagi. It traps the target in an endless time loop, cutting off their senses until they accept their fate. The downside is that using these techniques permanently blinds the eye, which is why the Uchiha clan classified them as Kenjutsu or Forbidden Jutsu. Even though the Sharingan is unique to the Uchiha, it can be transplanted into non-Uchiha. The catch is that without Uchiha blood, that person doesn't have enough chakra to handle it properly. They can't deactivate it, which drains their energy quickly. That's why Kakashi, even though he had Obito Sharingan, had to keep it covered most of the time to save his chakra. The Mangekyo Sharingan is the next level of the Sharingan, but unlocking it comes at a huge emotional cost. It only activates after the user experiences the deep pain of losing someone they truly care about. When that happens, their Sharingan evolves, granting them unique abilities while making their regular Sharingan powers even stronger. If their Sharingan wasn't fully developed before, awakening the Mangekyo automatically completes it. But this power comes with a major downside. Using it too much gradually ruins their eyesight until they eventually go blind. The only way to avoid this is by transplanting a Mangekyo from a close blood relative, ideally a sibling. This upgrade creates the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, which keeps all the abilities but removes the risk of blindness. One of the easiest ways to recognize a Mangekyo Sharingan is its design. Instead of the usual 3 tomoe, it takes on a unique, pinwheel-like pattern that's different for every user. For a long time, even the Uchiha didn't fully understand how to awaken it. Many believed they had to kill their loved ones themselves to unlock the Mangekyo, which led to a dark history of Uchiha betraying and murdering those closest to them just to gain more power. But the truth is, they only need to witness the loss of someone dear to them. Taking their life with their own hands isn't necessary. Once someone unlocks the Mangekyo, all the regular Sharingan abilities get a massive boost. But the real game changer is the unique jutsu that comes with it. Each user gets different abilities, and in some cases, their left and right eye even have separate powers. For example, Itachi Uchiha's right eye gave him Amaterasu, while his left eye allowed him to use Tsukiyomi. Sasuke's Mangekyo worked a little differently. His left eye also had Amaterasu, but his right eye let him control and shape flames with Gakatsuchi. Some abilities can be similar across different users, but their strengths depend on the person. In rare cases, a single eye can even hold multiple jutsu, like Itachi's right eye, which contains both Amaterasu and Tsukiyomi. The Mangekyo Sharingan is completely tied to its user. Even if someone gets their hands on the eye, they can't use its abilities unless they transplant it into themselves. But once someone awakens the Mangekyo in both eyes, they unlock one of the most powerful abilities, Susanoo. Susanoo is a massive, chakra-made warrior that acts almost like an indestructible suit of armor. What's crazy is that it can still be summoned even if the user no longer has their original eyes. There's also a rare version of the Mangekyo called the Straight Tomoe, which Madara and Sasuke Uchiha had. This version boosts their combat skills even more, and Madara believed it was proof that he and Sasuke shared a deeper connection beyond just their bloodline. The Mangekyo also helps users read the Uchiha clan stone tablets, though it still doesn't reveal everything as the Rinnegan does. If a non-Uchiha transplants a Mangekyo, they can still use it, but the chakra drain is brutal. Unlike a regular Sharingan though, a transplanted Mangekyo can be turned on and off at will. It can even be set to activate under certain conditions, meaning its abilities can still be triggered even after the original user's death. When someone activates the Mangekyo Sharingan, it gives off a unique energy that sensory-type ninjas can detect, but they can't tell which technique is about to be used. The problem is that the more the user relies on it, the faster their eyesight worsens. This Sharingan form, however, merges the designs and abilities of both eyes while keeping all of the original techniques. It completely removes the risk of blindness and reduces the strain on the user's body and chakra. Madara Uchiha even described the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan as proof of a Uchiha who refused to stop moving forward, no matter how much loss they've endured. The Rinne Sharingan, also known as the Samsara Copy Wheel, is an ancient Dojutsu Kekkai Mora and the ancestor of both the Rinnegan and Sharingan. You can recognize it by its red color, wave-like pattern, and the 9 tomoe spread across it. Kaguya Ōtsutsuki was the first to awaken this eye after eating the chakra fruit from the god tree. When she did, a third eye opened on her forehead and gave her the power to control humanity and create an army of white Zetsu. Later, when she fused with the god tree and became the 10 Tails, the beast inherited the Rinne Sharingan as well. The Uchiha clan's stone tablet hinted that someone with the Rinnegan could awaken the Rinne Sharingan by reaching the moon. Madara Uchiha made that prophecy a reality when he became the 10 Tails Jinchuriki, regained both Rinnegan and then awakened the Rinne Sharingan on his forehead. But before he could fully use its power, Black Zetsu betrayed him and forced him to revive Kaguya instead. She reclaimed the Rinne Sharingan, but Naruto and Sasuke later managed to seal her away using 6 paths, Chibaku Tensei. When that happened, her third eye was forcibly shut with a seal shaped like a sun and moon. One of the most terrifying abilities of the Rinne Sharingan is the Infinite Tsukiyomi, a genjutsu so powerful it reflects off the moon and traps the entire world in an illusion. The light from this technique is so intense that it turns night into a horror-like glowing daylight. Anyone caught in it falls into an endless dream, with their eyes taking on the Rinnegan's pattern to show they're under its control. The only way to break the infinite Tsukuyomi is by combining the power of the Rinnegan with the chakra of all nine-tailed beasts. On top of that, Kaguya could use the Rinne Sharingan to travel between dimensions. This means she can pull herself and others into alternate worlds whenever she wants. The Rinnegan is the last, and perhaps the most legendary of the three great Dojutsu in this list. It's so powerful that legends say whenever the world falls into chaos, someone with the Rinnegan is sent from the heavens either to become a god of creation or a god of destruction. You can recognize it by the wave-like pattern covering the entire eye. A Sharingan user can evolve their eyes into the Rinnegan by gaining Hagoromo's chakra. This can happen in two ways. One is by combining the chakras of Indra and Ashura, and the other is by receiving them directly from Hagoromo himself. The Rinnegan grants incredible power and enormous amounts of chakra. With it, a user can instantly master all 5 nature transformations, understand any jutsu by looking at it, see chakra, detect hidden barriers, and even read the Sage of Six Paths stone tablet. However, it's not all powerful. It can't see through solid objects like smoke bombs. Its real strength comes from the Six Paths technique, which grants different abilities. The Deva path controls gravity and allows the user to pull objects toward them with Bansho Tenin, or push everything away with Shinra Tensei. At its peak, it can even create a miniature moon using Shibaku Tensei. The Ashura path turns the user's body into a walking weapon and enables them to create extra arms, hidden blades, missile launchers, and even fire energy blasts. The human path is all about soul extraction. By touching someone's head or chest, the user can read their thoughts and rip out their soul, causing instant death. And since there's no way to reverse it, it's the ultimate way to keep secrets buried. The animal path lets the user summon powerful creatures that share their Rinnegan vision. These include a multi-headed dog that multiplies when attacked, a chameleon that can turn invisible, and a giant bird perfect for aerial combat. The Prita path makes the user completely immune to ninjutsu by absorbing chakra. Whether by touch or by creating a protective energy barrier, this ability drains an opponent's energy while keeping the user untouchable. The Naraka path grants access to the King of Hell, a terrifying entity used for both interrogation and healing. It can rip out and judge souls, and anyone caught lying is doomed. On top of that, it can fully heal the user and their allies. The outer path gives control over life and death. With it, the user can bring people back to life, control black chakra rods, and even restrain tailed beasts with powerful chakra chains. It also allows the creation of the 6 paths of pain, where the user controls 6 different bodies, each with a unique ability. The Rinnegan is also the key to unsealing the demonic statue of the outer path and becoming the 10 Tails Jinchuriki. If awakened even further, it can evolve into the Rinne Sharingan, unlocking the power of the infinite Tsukuyomi. Some Rinnegan users even develop special abilities, and here are some of the strongest ones. Sasuke Uchiha can swap places with objects or people using Amanote Chikara and open portals to other dimensions. Madara Uchiha has Limbo, which lets him create invisible clones that exist in a parallel plane, undetectable to most. Momoshiki Ōtsutsuki can absorb any jutsu with his right hand and fire back an even stronger version with his left. Urashiki Ōtsutsuki has 2 different Rinnegan. His red one lets him travel between dimensions, while his blue one allows him to rewind time and erase his presence. Lastly, Jura, an incarnation of the 10 Tails, can fire tailed beast balls directly from his Rinnegan. The Shinragan, or Clairvoyance, isn't like the Sharingan or Rinnegan, which are all about boosting combat skills. Instead, it gives the user a completely different kind of power, one that's all about seeing everything, no matter where it is. With the Shinragan, the user can watch anything happening in the present, even across dimensions. But it doesn't stop there. They can also look into the past, all the way back to the moment they were born. And it's basically the ultimate spying ability, letting them see the world without ever leaving their spot. That said, it's not all powerful. The Shinragan only works on the user's own knowledge. Just because they can see something doesn't mean they'll understand it. They can't read minds, see souls, or instantly grasp things beyond their intelligence. It's like staring through a window. You can watch what's happening, but whether you actually get what's going on depends on how much you already know. This rare ability comes from Shibai Ōtsutsuki, a godlike being who went beyond mortality. His powers were way beyond human understanding, but Amado later used some of his DNA to modify Ada, giving her the Shinragan. On top of that, she also gained the ability to float and fly. Right now, she's the only known user, but since this power is linked to the Ōtsutsuki, there's a good chance it's way more important than we realize. What makes the Shinragan especially dangerous is how useful it is for strategy. It lets the user gather intel from anywhere, watching enemies, uncovering secrets, and even influencing events without stepping a foot on the battlefield. Whether it's for war, manipulation, or just knowing things no one else does, the possibilities are endless as long as the user knows what they're looking for. Visually, Ada's Shinragan stands out. When activated, the white part of her left eye turns black, with 3 dots and a crescent moon pattern. In the anime, it looks even wilder, like a galaxy in her eye, with a bright blue iris, orbit-like white dots, and a large, planet-like pupil in the center. Ranmaru's Keikai Genkai is one of the most unique and mysterious eye powers in the Naruto world. Unlike the Sharingan or Byakugan, it doesn't have an official name, but that doesn't make it any less impressive. When activated, his eyes glow a deep red, and his perception goes off the charts. First off, his Dojutsu takes sensory abilities to another level. Ranmaru can see through walls, detect hidden people, and sense chakra from insanely far away. It's kinda like the Byakugan, but in some ways even better. Instead of just seeing chakra networks, he can actually block others from sensing chakra at all. That means Dojutsu users who rely on their eyes suddenly lose their biggest advantage. But that's not all. His Dojutsu is also an expert in deception. He can create illusions that completely hide people or even fake chakra pathways, tricking enemies into seeing things that aren't really there. And this isn't just regular genjutsu. His illusions are so realistic that even top-level sensors get fooled. The red dust that appears around him or his targets plays a big role in this, helping him mess with opponents in ways they can't predict. And if that wasn't crazy enough, he can also read minds. He picks up hidden details and even sees into a person's deepest memories. It's also tied to the life force itself. He can tell if someone is truly alive, even if their chakra says otherwise. And in a rare case, he was even able to transfer his own life force to save someone from dying, something not even the Byakugan can do. Xian's Dojutsu is one of the rarest in Naruto, but unlike the Sharingan or Byakugan, it's not made for battle. Instead, it lets her see the future, specifically how someone is going to die. In Naruto Shippuden the movie, we learn that she's already predicted over 100 deaths, and every single one has come true. When she activates her ability, her eyes glow with a detailed violet pattern, signaling that a prophecy is unfolding. This might sound like an incredible power, but for Xian, it's actually more of a curse. These visions come without a warning, completely outside her control, and no matter how hard she tries to stop them, they always seem to happen anyway. She doesn't get any special combat skills or extra protection. She's just forced to watch fate play out, powerless to change it. Still, she does what she can, warning others and trying to protect people, even when she's not sure it will make a difference. Xian's Dojutsu does have one built-in defense though. If she's about to die, her past self gets a warning about it, including the names of the people who will be around her when it happens. This forces those people to protect her, knowing that one of them could die instead. However, the fact that this ability activates on its own just proves that Xian has no real control over her power. Even so, she manages to do the impossible, breaking her own fate by preventing Naruto's predicted death. This proves that while her visions are terrifyingly accurate, they aren't completely set in stone. In the movie, Xian has a vision of Naruto dying in the hands of Morio, and it shakes her to her core. Every single prophecy she's ever had has come true, so she believes Naruto is doomed, just like everyone else she's foreseen. Then, her palace is attacked and people die trying to protect her. Even when Naruto saves her, she can't let go of the fear that he's still going to die. After all, that's all she's ever known. But there's another side to her power. Xian's abilities are so overwhelming that even her own mother feared she could become more dangerous than Morio if she were ever consumed by power or greed. Yome's Dojutsu gives her a unique way to track enemies and dodge attacks. Instead of seeing chakra or predicting movements like other Dojutsu in this list, Yome's Dojutsu allows her to sharpen her vision by dilating her pupils and using tiny water droplets as mirrors. This lets her see incredibly far. In fact, Sin even says that once she's locked onto someone, she can track them for dozens of kilometers without them knowing. But her ability isn't just for scouting. It also helps her avoid attacks. By keeping an eye on the reflections around her, she can predict enemy movements and react almost instantly. Her agility, combined with her Dojutsu, makes Yome extremely hard to hit in battle. By using water droplets to stay one step ahead, she basically turns her surroundings into a surveillance system. Of course, her power has its limits. Water droplets don't last forever, and once they evaporate, her ability becomes much harder to use. But her biggest weakness is bright light. A flash bomb or any sudden burst of brightness can completely throw off her vision. We're closing out the list with two eye techniques that haven't been officially classified as Dojutsu, but still have similar abilities. While their status as true Dojutsu is uncertain, they do appear in Naruto and Boruto, so they're worth talking about. When Kidomaru powers up with his cursed seal, a third eye pops open on his forehead. This eye cranks up his accuracy to insane levels and lets him land pinpoint shots. It also seems to let him see chakra, which is probably how he spots weak points in an opponent's defense. Most of the time, he keeps this eye hidden under his forehead protector, but when a fight gets serious and he enters the second stage of his cursed seal, the eyes reveal themselves. Once it's out, Kidomaru's aim becomes ridiculously sharp. He can tell if his shot is off by just 15 centimeters, even from 50 meters away. It is with this power-up that Kidomaru was able to analyze the secret of Byakugan and find out about the weak blind spot located around the first thoracic vertebrae. Then there's Kagemasa, who has a dojutsu called the Magan. This eye ability is straight up scary. Some fans even consider this broken. The Magan can freeze or paralyze enemies in place just by looking at them, and it works instantly with a single glance. Its name means evil eye, and when it's activated, it's like time itself stops, kinda like the world from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And so, here's the question. If you could have any dojutsu in this list, which one would you want for yourself? But now that you know about every canon and non-canon dojutsu in Naruto, why not check out our videos on other amazing animes like Blue Lock and Sakamoto Days? We've got plenty of content on incredible series that you won't want to miss. So go ahead and click on the videos on your screen now.